We invite you to follow this trail through a reconstructed Yosemite Indian village of the 1870s, the largest Miwok village in Yosemite Valley. The village of Ahwahnee was once in this area. Signs along the path will introduce you to the structures in the village and the plants used by the native people. And here's kind of a map. Here you have some background. After 1900s, the number of Indian people living in Yosemite began to shrink. The older Indian village was disbanded in the early 1930s, and a group of cabins was established as a new Indian village with the National Park Service as landlord. With housing more difficult to obtain, fewer Indian people came to Yosemite for employment. The National Park Service gradually dismantled the new village, and the last homes there were raised in 1969. Today, descendants of Yosemite's native people, both nearby and scattered throughout the world. In 1990, over 400 Indian people resided in Mariposa County and 500 in Tuolumne County. Reading all these would be kind of too long of a video. I'll get to the actual visual stuff when we're ready, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Oh, so this is an acorn growing house kind of thing. Black oak acorns. Yep, we're an essential part of diet California. Yes, these are acorn vines and stuff. Jewelry, blankets, an old knife, a rock, some acorns grown from one of those, as you guys saw back there. A pan, kind of like a skillet-like thing, but a bit larger than that. Flour. There's a button here.
By the 1870s, many changes came to my family and village. White settlers now live in the meadows where grandfather Tanai used to hunt, and my aunts used to gather seeds and acorns. Now the cattle eat special grasses planted by the white people, and their hogs eat the acorns that we all try to gather in the fall. Fences block the way of some of our favorite places in the valley, but there are good things that the white people have brought. Mother made my first dress of yellow cloth at the Fresno River Reservation. Now that we live in Yosemite again, Father buys bright-colored fabric and many other things at the store across the river. We are able to buy things at the store because both Mother and Father work at the hotels across the river. The white people give my parents metal pieces for their work, and Father trades these metal pieces at the store for things like potatoes and coffee. When Mother is not washing clothes at the hotel, she is gathering materials for baskets, which we still use and make to pare acorn. All of the women and girls help pound and leach the acorn, which will never be replaced by the new foods. Father fishes a lot and sells some of the fish to Mr. Hustings and other hotel keepers. He brings the rest home, which we sometimes roast over the fire and eat with rice, which we cook in our new iron pots. These are good and bad things about the white people coming to our valley. We still remember and practice many of our old ways, which we also like some of our new ways. Mainly, we are glad to be in Yosemite instead of at the reservation, because this valley has always been and will always be our home.
Alright guys, I know I never like to be silent with you, but this is some pretty heavy stuff, okay? It's okay to have feelings. That's what makes us people. But we must be strong. This isn't something we just laugh and joke and say some funny lines and leave. I'm gonna take a few more pictures and then on with the video. Okay, we are back. I just took a picture of a few more signs. This is a ceremonial roundhouse, the center of village religious activity. Because this house is being used the old way, we ask that you stay behind the barrier and off the roof. Thank you. Man, if I saw anyone climb on the roof of this or dance around it or carve their name in it, I would take them down. So this is kind of like, think of this as kind of like a church, except it's always close by. We also have this. Yeah. This is kind of, I believe this is the chief's house, because they stated that it's always a little bit bigger than, oh, it's like a roof piece over in there. That's either missing or that's meant for decor. Bark house. They could be made from a variety of things that, at least, you know, that I've seen. Look at this. It's held together by traditional like vines and stuff. Okay, so I can't, the camera's a little zoomed in because it's just in video mode, but this is what they had. Some more vines that held this together. Amazing stuff right here. It makes it so much more authentic knowing that actual Native Americans built these. So this is kind of like the main room. It's pretty much the only room in the roundhouse, but while we can't go inside, that is hollow in there. So that is a ceremonial room. Here's a shed. Obviously it's not traditionally built because of the style of wood and the lock on it. Heated by an oak wood fire, was used by men before hunting and for curative purposes. After 1 to 3 hours in the sweat house, the deer hunter would emerge and bathe himself in a nearby pool of water. He then rubbed himself with warm wood or another aromatic plant to remove human scent, which would allow the hunter to get closer to his quarry. The sweat house replaced several earlier sweat houses that stood on this site. The first was built in the 1930s by Chief Lemmy as part of the recreated Indian village constructed here in the late 1920s. The sweat house is built on a framework of incense cedar poles covered with successive layers of buckbrush, wormwood, pine needles, cedar bark, and earth.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change.